That's overkill in this sense. So how do we integrate this into a software development lifecycle? So typically in software development, you see security kind of just tacked on at the end. The guys build it, it gets to some testing stage, and then there's some sort of security testing that goes involved. Or, oh, hey, let's invite that guy from the security group over to sit in on our Q&A session. All right, but the idea here is we really want to integrate this thing in the lifecycle from start to finish. So the initial requirements gathering, does this thing have to be over HTTPS? Are you storing something sensitive? How sensitive is it? Do you have any sort of regulatory compliance, HIPAA, SOX, that kind of stuff? Then when you go to code it, you want to do the source code analysis, like we said, desk checks, have other people look through it, step through it. Again, with testing, you're always going to do security there. And then, finally with, implementation and deployment of the system. So here's an example of a security in a software development lifecycle. Yes, I know it's Microsoft, but, this is actually a pretty good thing that they implemented. They kind of realized that, their operating systems and stuff weren't the cream of the crop. There were prettier dogs at the show. So this guy Michael Howard, the third link here, I highly recommend this. He literally wrote the book on secure coding. It's called Secure Coding, and this guy, it really is. Imagine if Simon Cowell from American Idol was a corporate security guy. That's Michael Howard. So he basically sat down and said, okay, we need to do something during the development thing because this is ridiculous having to patch all this stuff afterwards. So this is kind of the secure development lifecycle that they came up with. So every time they develop a new thing at Microsoft, they run through this process. So you can see the first step is training. So these are coders that have been there for who knows how long, but every time they start a new process, they're required to go to security training. But that's a good thing, because you're never going to be aware of everything, and you got to stay current with the thing, with all the new security developments. You can see that then they go ahead and analyze the risk, design. They do threat modeling. You see, I'm not making this up. It's right here. They specify tools, and it goes on throughout the life cycle. And there's white papers and all kinds of examples out of the websites here that they talk about. They've got some metrics that we reduced the amount of 1-year patches by 70% or whatnot. There's different things that they have on the website, that kind of validate the fact that all this works. So here's my favorite example of real-world threat modeling. So I have a 6-year-old daughter, and we got her this thing called Alphabet Pal, and it's made by this company called Leapfrog. Makes all these educational toys. So it's got these, you see it's got the letter feet along the bottom, and you can put there's a little switch there. You put it on mode, you hit the letter, it says A, B, C. Put another one and play songs. Well, one of the modes is phonetics, and so you put it on the switch, and you hit F, and it goes F, and you hit K, and it goes K, and you hit S, and it goes Sh. And you hit T and it goes T. Do you see where I'm going with this? So one day she's just like mashing keys on the thing, and I hear it go, hee hee, that tickles. I was like, what was that about? So I picked the thing up and I started pushing things, and I realized on certain combinations or patterns it laughed. And so I started looking at it more, and being a troublemaker, I started like trying to spell curse words. And whenever I put in that last letter, it laughed at me. And that was kind of disconcerting that this little toy knew, So it was like, F-U-C, and it laughed. And I was like, okay, well, F-U-K, and it laughed. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, somebody threat modeled this. Somebody sat down and thought that this would happen. So through my own testing and blogs, I found this blacklist. I'm sure there's more out there. If you need any of these explained, see me afterwards. I can let you in on the joke. But my favorite here is the last one's Yuck. Yuck is blacklisted. All I can think is I guess they don't want the kids like critiquing their mom's cooking or something. I'm not really sure why that's there. But I read this one blog post. Somebody tried over 50 racial slurs and they all went through. So at least they're like an equal opportunity, So. But yeah, this is hilarious that some guy, as part of his job, sat down and threat modeled this. This is what they considered a problem. All I can imagine in my head is that they got an intern to do it, because this sounds like the kind of work you would give an intern. And, especially like a really good intern, one of those guys, you give them a project and they do it like 1,000 times better than you'd assume anybody in the company would ever do it. Because if you gave this to like a regular salary guy, bottom of the barrel, you kind of work here, yeah. But this is a perfect example of threat modeling. So the key points, the takeaways here is that, you want to know yourself, know the enemy. Again, back to Sun Tzu again. Again, you want to never trust user inputs or dependencies. They are the enemy. That's the best way to think of it. Just always default to that assumption. And so you want to think in terms, again, of the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, availability. And then again, the most important part, the rebels were terrorists. Long live the Galactic Empire. And I realize I talk way too fast. So, is there any questions, discussions? Share some more anecdotes about toys? All right, thank you all for coming.